Okay. So, this broadcast is unscheduled, obviously. But essentially, during the heat wave, which an Oregon heat wave is when it's above 90 degrees for multiple days, or expected to be above 90 degrees. That heat wave's over, so I'm trying to catch up on my broadcasts a bit. And Bungie sent me an email asking what I thought about Destiny 2. Yes, that's this broadcast. They literally phrased it as, we want to know what you think of Destiny 2. Biggest problems with that is, A, there's so much to cover that the only way I could efficiently do it is by this method. And the second thing is, where do I even start? Yeah, there's just that much wrong with it. Okay, I guess the easiest thing to start out covering is characters. Okay, so I went and I'm more of a casual player nowadays when it comes to Destiny. Kind of go into that a little bit later as the reason why. It took me 3 years to get a weapon setup that I liked. Mainly because they changed the weapons systems so that you could have certain weapons in different slots. Like in year 2, I believe. But anyways, this is like my preferred loadout. My favorite sword that exists in Destiny 2 that's not an exotic. A legendary scout rifle with good range, with not as good as the one I had in Destiny 1. That thing had above a maxed out range. And so I used a scout rifle scope, which is the only scopes in the game that I can actually aim with as far as long range. For some reason, my depth perception is thrown off with sniper scopes. And as you can see, it's built off of AoE precision explosions. And this is my primary, the Crimson, yeah. Normally, I also wear this. I don't remember why I removed it, but essentially, using in conjunction with this loadout meant that my ranged weapons, anytime I got a precision kill, I turned the enemies into explosives. And yes, I prefer fire. I'm a bit of a pyromaniac in video games, so. Anyways, the biggest problems with these is they're now sunsetted. As you can see, they're now no longer upgradable. So, after 3 years of finally finding a loadout, weapons that I actually want to use and enjoy using, they're scrapped, and instead I have to pay money, real life money, to get a battle pass, season pass that's not even worth the money because I don't play this game enough to be able to get decent stuff, new equipment. Well, looks like this season it's only the exotics, so that are paid to get, basically. But since they added these seasonal passes, their seasonal weapons have been total crap. Not even worth using as a season for the season, let alone out of the season. So there's that. And I basically only really excel with scout rifle, sword, and hand cannons. Everything else is just crap to me. I mean, I might switch up the hand cannons with sidearms, or switch the scout rifle to a sidearm. Rarely, but that's about it. So, there's that issue. Next issue is you can see the season ends in 7 days, 21 hours. Well, that means you can no longer get the seasonal content that was available. You also no longer get to experience the season story. So if you don't play constantly, you miss out on the story content, which was always one of the biggest factors of Destiny, is the story. So there's that. Then you've got the fact that your favorite gear no longer applies to PvE. Ships are basically useless. There's no point in them, which is sad. PvE is essentially worthless, or not PvP, because it's nothing but tryhards. You literally cannot get any enjoyment out of it anymore unless you win. No matter how you win. Because of the way they try to balance PvP, they're constantly nerfing good PvE weapons, which ruins PvP or PvE. All this has factored into me being the only one that I know of on my friends list that even has it installed anymore. I only have it installed because I just hope they eventually pull their heads out of their asses and fix the issue. Back during the problem with PvP has been issue since the beginning, since Destiny 1, around, I want to say, the Taken King era. The only thing that actually fixed it was the Sparrow Racing League, which no longer exists. Nobody really uses legendary speeders because they're actually slower than exotics. That's an issue that they should be the same speed. The difference is they should have special perks, not 10 more speed. ships should be not simply cosmetic. They should actually have functions where they can fly and be used in combat. Especially ship-to-ship PvP would really add some flair, and bring back the Sparrow Racing League, because, well, it was the only thing that made it enjoyable in PvP. And when I say enjoyable, there are unique social interactions that make even the worst competitive situation enjoyable. I'll use an example. Somebody back during the Halo Reach days, somebody that I recently befriended had tossed a frag grenade at one of the enemies. It bounced off their visor, their helmet's visor, and then flew at me, blowing up before it hit the ground and killed me. We just started cracking up. In real life, you get blown up by your friend's grenades, you're not gonna laugh. You're dead. The end. In virtual video games, it's hilarious. It's unique social moments like that that make essentially even the most competitive play environments enjoyable and fun. The way PvP in Destiny 2 has basically been overdeveloped to cater to tryhards with no lives and use the cheapest unsportsman conduct and whatnot, and use the most unfair tactics and everything, has essentially stripped any possibility of that out of it. You either win and enjoy, or you lose and you're miserable or pissed off. That's all it's become. Meaning PvE is the only thing left. But like I previously mentioned, you can't enjoy the story anymore because the story is seasonal based. And it's set up to where you have to play a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of days, during a certain amount of weeks during the season, which is like about 3 months, or whatever 100 days is considered. I don't much enjoy playing solo, so I don't really play Destiny as much, because for all the issues means that I'm the only one who would even play it that I know of. I have not encountered anybody that plays it that I would enjoy hanging out, because essentially most of the people that I've encountered are people only in PvE because they're trying to get better equipment for PvP. I have given up on PvP on Destiny because, obviously. Then you've got where was it? Things like shaders. The biggest problem I have with shaders is always been the limited amount of colors. And now Halo Infinite's basically, from what I could tell of the technical preview I participated, is going to be a cheap copy of Destiny 2, which is pretty much unplayable in my opinion. One thing that I notice is some shaders have special textures, which is not a bad thing. However, the way they went about it is the only company that I have seen so far that have managed to do it right to where you can have those textures and not have to care about colors because, well, the colors are changeable for most textures, has been Anthem from BioWare. Like, for example, this camouflage. You can apply camouflage and then change the colors of the camouflage in Anthem. Anthem is surprisingly considered the least successful of the games that use such mechanics, but that's the one thing the game did right, was the way they did the layers for their cosmetic shading system. You can pick individual textures and then apply colors separately with the textures so that you get both texture details and colors. Like, for example, I can pick almost 90 from different metals, fabrics, crystals, and maybe about 90% of them, the colors can be changed from different colors as well as material colors such as silver, gold, bronze, platinum, chrome. And these are separate from the actual texture colors. Yeah, you may be thinking it's obvious he's more of a cosmetic type person. There is some truth to that. I prefer to play games with custom characters precisely because I like immersive details, and when it comes to immersion, I prefer to play as my ideal self. This means using the hair color I used to have when I was younger, golden blonde, not this Draco Malfoy blonde knockoff crap, and practically sapphire blue eyes, but with pale skin. Because I didn't tan, I still can't tan. It's my Norse blood means I have to be severely sunburned and still be in the sun dealing with the pain to get a tan. So I don't tan, so I'm pasty pale and will be stuck that way unless I develop the traits of an N. So as a result, certain colors have always gone well with the combination of my skin, hair, and eye colors. So I've always been drawn to black and similar dark colors, but I prefer gold and I guess you could call it pure blue depending on where you're looking. Essentially, if you go to a hex color or color programming thing, with a slider, for example, you put blue to 255, green to 0, red to 0, and if it has the fourth shader for alpha or whatever it was called, that's my favorite shade of blue. And I kind of like orange, but not too much. Like a fiery orange type thing. Anyway, so I go out of my way to have my character look as much like me as possible. Same hair color, eye color, skin color. The face, the way I looked back when I was in shape. And have the color and clothing style I would wear if I was living in that world. So, yeah, I'm a bit of a cosmetic critic when it comes to stuff like that. It's just how I am. It's part of how I immerse myself in these realities. But you chalk all that up, and Destiny 2 is essentially become a lost cause. There's nothing left for me to really enjoy in it. All the weapons I liked, that I spent 3 years to get, they're nothing more than scrap at this point. They're worthless. The ships, they look cool, but they're worthless. PvP, you either win and enjoy, or you're fucked. Pardon my French. Well, that would be more Old English acronym. Probably the oldest acronym. Because of what they keep on trying to do, the balance PvP. PvE's fucked. So, yeah. I honestly do not see any point of playing Destiny too much anymore. I mean, I still get the news and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Nothing good listed here. Next. It's... how else do I put it? It's broken, it's lost. It would take incredible amount of redesigning, like pretty much the whole entire game to restore it. I mean, I may play a bit more if, at the very least, they unsunsetted weapons and allowed you to experience the previous season's stories and get the content, like kind of like Halo Infinite. You can do at your leisure. You don't have to constantly play for that season just to get the seasonal stuff. And if you miss that season or don't have enough time to play for that season, you're not screwed over. Don't use fusion rifles. Haven't since Destiny 1 because... and that was only during raids. I don't even do raids anymore. Because there's no point with just myself. A nice ship, I suppose. But useless. At the end of the day, Destiny's pretty much broken.
Nobody lets off steam like a not gonna be a problem.
The bare minimum, like I said, a work around the sunsetting, even if it's like just essentially applying certain properties of sunsetted to newer weapons in some way or some form where it's worthwhile. And being able to replay seasonal content. On the off chance that I do play, at most I play for maybe 4 hours every couple of days per season. So probably about 20 hours for a per season, maybe, at best. Mainly because I don't really enjoy what Destiny's become. I don't enjoy playing by myself much, which everybody that doesn't enjoy what Destiny's become have left. There's pretty much no value in it. Sure, there are those battle junkies, tryhards that play the shit out of PvP, but yeah. Let's be honest. Those individuals are probably the only ones that are keeping Destiny afloat. As far as seasonal stuff's concerned, I don't even find the seasonal artifacts useful. Especially with the way they have these seasonal mods that are useless at the end of the season. If there was a way to keep them on there and like them be less effective unless you can get to the same rank with the seasonal artifact that you had to for the season you applied them to have access to them, that may work, if that makes sense. I don't even get bonus anymore because I haven't played it much. I didn't even know the max for the current season. I would enjoy Vault of Glass, but again, the only people that play it are the people who just are after equipment for PvP, really. Where was... That was under collections. Let's see. I know I didn't play for most of the seasons. I think, if I remember correctly, I tried to give Destiny another chance right before the major expansion released. I also tried to give it a chance right after sunsetting and the major expansion stuff. I didn't play most seasons. The only reason why I have anything under these seasons, most of these seasons, is due to the fact that I've been getting content through Prime Rewards.
Sure. Rhythmic physical expression.
I didn't play this season.
And feeling good is better than not.
or that season, and those are the 3 seasons that I actually really did anything with. And obviously barely at that, because simply time and interest. In fact, Warmind was probably the most I played since Destiny 1, the Destiny franchise, since Destiny 1. And that was basically just me playing by myself the whole time. Or playing with randoms, but that was mainly because I was doing public events. But as you can even tell, the friends that I had, most of them left and deleted their accounts and everything. The only person that even has an account that even has any of the expansions or had any of the expansions is right here. I'm the only Game Pass member of my friends list that's left, and so there's literally, yeah, to me it's a dead franchise. 343 is trying to do something weird with Halo. During 4, it was like they were trying to turn Halo into COD, which is a cash grab in of itself. It's basically the same thing every game, just in a costume. Which is the reason why I've taken up to literally referring to it as Call of Shit. Because it's basically a shit franchise that milks you of your money for the same exact thing as the last 20 games. Gameplay wise, at least. Halo 5, I'm not sure what they were trying to do with that one. Halo Infinite, again, participate in technical preview. It's a cheap ripoff of Destiny 2, which is basically failing. The only games really similar to Destiny 2 are probably about Mass Effect Andromeda and BioWare's Anthem, both of which are classified as flops.
Eververse isn't just a title.
So, yeah. That's what I think about Destiny 2. Doesn't even have self-reviving solar things anymore, which was one of the best aspects of it, but at the end of the day, it's, I don't know why it's even still around. I've got a little more time, so I wanted to revisit something I said about the world's, one of the world's oldest acronym, the word fuck. It is technically not a word. or at least it wasn't into recent years. It's actually an obscure part of history that's been bastardized so many times that most people wouldn't even know. Essentially, it was used as a shorthand term among royals and nobles back during medieval times as a acronym for fornicate under consent of king. It was originally used for essentially when a king wanted women of royalty or nobles women to fornicate with certain individuals to strengthen bloodlines, or when the bloodlines are in danger of going extinct because infertility. In other words, like for example, the king can't impregnate his queen and his harem, basically. Let's put it that way. I don't know why I can't pronounce the concubine word properly today. There's always a word or handful of words per day that I can't pronounce for that day, but I can normally pronounce, so. Anyway, so he can't produce offspring, so he finds somebody he deems worthy enough to pass on the genes in his place and has them fornicate with his queen and harem. Tyrants misused it a bit among them. Also to point out, when they had different kings under a king, in other words, sometimes referred to as lords of the land or feudal lords or territory lords, they were basically a king of a small section of the kingdom in whole. So yes, it could be complied when they give the order. There were times when tyrants among them would allow the noblemen and those loyal to them to have the first night, which is essentially they would sleep with the newly-wed wife and take her first time. There was other times when they would use it to punish individuals by fornicating with wives, mothers, and daughters of those that they determined that need to be punished. Criminals, individuals that stood up against tyranny, stuff like that. Eventually, it became associated with due to the tyrants' of main actions, it became associated with the sheer act of fornication and essentially became what it is today. And I'm pretty much at 40 minutes, so I'll probably be ending this broadcast. And I'm debating on whether or not to hop on another title to do another broadcast. I have a few broadcast ideas. I've got one featuring what Anthem did right as far as shaders. I have an idea for a summer special, which is definitely not friendly for all ages because, well, Conan Exiles has total nudity. I currently have my console set up to the US, so at most it'll be partial nudity, which is women running around topless. If I had it switched to UK region, it would be full-on nudity, but considering I archive my videos on YouTube, I'm probably not going to go down that route, because I don't remember the exact rules of stuff like that. Plus, I do direct broadcasting from my console to Twitch and then archive my Twitch archives onto YouTube. So I don't have any censoring tools or anything like that, so those were my mainstream ideas for the time being, so I'll be back in a few minutes once I decide what I actually want to do. Really? Till then.